In this section, we'll dive into the concept of building upon existing research by incorporating validated instruments into your data collection strategy. We're using validated tools, which have been developed and rigorously tested by others, offer significant benefits, most notably improving the reliability and efficiency of your research. By leveraging established measurement methods, you can save valuable time, enhance the credibility of your findings, and ensure that your study results are scientifically sound. Let's start by emphasizing the importance of this approach in the context of your study design. You might already have a clear idea of what you want to measure, say, the impact of potassium intake on depression levels. However, one of the most critical aspects of your study is accurately measuring depression. Without a validated method to quantify depression, your results could be unreliable, regardless of how well you measure potassium intake. Essentially, if the tools you use to collect data aren't scientifically robust, your findings may lack the rigor needed for publication or peer review. The problem. Why not just create your own measurement tools? Consider a scenario where your research team is expert in nutrition, specifically in measuring potassium intake through controlled diets. You design an experiment to link potassium levels in the diet to depression. The issue arises when you realize that you don't have a reliable way to measure depression itself, while you may have cutting-edge methods for quantifying potassium. Without a validated tool for measuring depression, you risk invalidating the study's findings. Creating your own method for measuring something like depression isn't just a minor task, it's an entire research project in itself. You would need to go through a series of steps to validate your new measurement tool, which could involve comparing it against gold standard psychiatric evaluations, testing it in various populations, and ensuring it performs reliably and accurately across different settings. This is a huge undertaking, and in most cases it's far more efficient to adopt a measurement tool that's already been rigorously tested and validated by others. The power of reusing validated instruments. The solution? Reusing validated instruments that have already been proven to measure what they claim. Validated instruments are the result of extensive research and testing, meaning they come with a built-in reliability and credibility. Instead of reinventing the wheel, you can save time and resources by incorporating tools that are already trusted in the field. For example, in the case of measuring depression, there are numerous validated surveys and scales, such as the Beck Depression Inventory or the PHQ-9, that have been tested across various populations and settings. These instruments provide a standardized way to assess depression, so you don't have to design and validate your own survey. By using tools that are already widely accepted in the scientific community, you strengthen the credibility of your research. You can show that your findings are built on methods that have been proven effective in measuring depression, or any other outcome you're interested in, whether it's health literacy, sleep patterns, or any number of other psychological or physiological variables. The process, how to find and select validated instruments. To incorporate validated instruments into your study, you'll want to follow a systematic approach to identify the right tools for your research. Conduct a literature review. You start by reviewing published studies that are similar to yours. Look for research in your area of interest and check how other researchers have measured key variables like depression. Resources such as PubMed, academic journals, and other peer-reviewed databases are great places to find information about validated instruments. Consider context and population. It's important to ensure that the instrument you choose is appropriate for your specific study population. For instance, a depression scale validated in one cultural or age group might not be suitable for another. Consider factors like language, setting, such as urban versus rural, and demographic variables like gender, age, and ethnicity to ensure the tool is valid in your context. Evaluate instrument properties. As you review potential instruments, make sure to assess their validity, reliability, and appropriateness for your study. Validity. Does the instrument truly measure what it claims to measure? For example, does a depression scale actually assess depression, or does it measure something else, like anxiety? Reliability. Is the instrument consistently reproducible? Will it give the same results under similar conditions, or does it vary wildly with different administrations, licensing? Some instruments are publicly available for free, while others may require a license for use. Be sure to check the terms of use and any associated costs. Pilot testing. In some cases, even if an instrument is validated in the literature, it's wise to conduct a small pilot test with your population before rolling it out in your main study. This helps ensure that the tool functions as expected in your specific context. Example, potassium and depression study. Let's return to our example of the study linking potassium intake with depression. If you were to begin your research without a clear measurement of depression, you'd be starting from scratch. However, by consulting existing literature and utilizing a validated tool like the PHQ-9 to assess depression, you immediately gain confidence in the accuracy and reliability of your measurements. To integrate this tool into your study, you would identify the PHQ-9 or another suitable validated instrument from the literature. Review the methodology used to validate the PHQ-9, ensuring that it's appropriate for your population. Confirm the licensing requirements and ensure that you have the legal right to use the tool in your study. Implement the PHQ-9 in your data collection process, making sure to follow the guidelines for its use, whether that's through a survey, interview, or other administration methods. By doing so, you not only make your study more efficient, but you also add a layer of scientific rigor that will strengthen the validity of your findings. Important considerations when using validated instruments. While validated instruments are powerful tools, there are some important considerations to keep in mind when incorporating them into your study validation conditions. Some instruments are validated under very specific conditions. For example, an instrument may have been validated using paper-based surveys in a particular language and population. If you are administering the tool online or translating it into another language, you need to verify that these changes won't invalidate the results. Population specificity. As mentioned earlier, an instrument validated in one population may not work well in another. For instance, a depression scale validated for adults may not be appropriate for children or elderly populations, so be sure the tool fits your specific research group. Ethical considerations. When using any validated tool, ensure that it adheres to ethical standards. For example, some tools might have sensitive questions, and you need to ensure that participants are informed and that their privacy is protected. Conclusion. In summary, the reuse of validated instruments offers a powerful strategy for improving your research design. By using tools that have already been rigorously tested, you can avoid the challenges of creating and validating new measurement methods from scratch. This not only saves you time, but also increases the credibility and reliability of your study findings. Remember to carefully select tools that are appropriate for your population, evaluate their reliability and validity, and consult existing research to ensure you're using the best possible instruments for your study. When done correctly, This approach can make your data collection more efficient, your analysis more robust, and your research overall more trustworthy. More